Yo, what's up, baby? This is Bert Watson, and you're listening to Radio MMA, because this is what they do and why they do it, baby, all night long, because they rolling hard, fast, and on the money.
Okay, guys, and this is going to be our review of UFC Fight Night 73, Glover Teixeira versus OSP, and joining me is the Creepy Weasel, Steve Montgomery. How's it going, man?
It's going very well, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. So, there was some pretty sweet fights on this card last weekend.
Yeah, man. The card was pretty insane. I had a lot of friends on it, too, so it made it where I almost couldn't enjoy it. I was just on the edge of my seat the whole time.
Okay, man, so let's just kick it off talking the prelim card on UFC Fight Pass. Jonathan Wilson KO'd Chris Dempsey. What did you think of that fight? It wasn't long. It was 50 seconds.
I guess that's all there was of it. I only got to see the highlights. I didn't get to see that fight, but I mean, dude, it was just brutal, man. Anytime somebody goes limp like that, it's just, whew, gives you the heebie-jeebies,
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. What'd you think about Jonathan Wilson? He's out there training with, guy that's from Strike Force. Man, I can't remember his name. Big dude.
Not a big dude from Strike Force?
Yeah, he's a pretty big guy. I remember he fought King Mo, and that's the time King Mo got nailed on the drugs or something. He got suspended. I just cannot think of the guy's name offhand. Doesn't matter. He's in a good camp out there in California, and, he sure knocked that guy out.
Yeah, dude. I mean, anybody that's going out there and putting dudes to sleep like that, you really can't say anything against them. They're obviously doing something right, That fight was pretty insane. I was actually really impressed with Scott Holtzman as well. He fought my buddy Tony. Anthony Cristoto. We all call him Tony. But yeah, that Scott Holtzman kid was a stud too, man. It was he was just putting on a display, and Anthony's tough as nails, and I really hated to see him lose. I wanted to see him get his ground game going and get a little something going, but that Holtzman kid was just landing big punches, big knees, big elbows, and I mean, Anthony just kept coming forward, man. He didn't stop. And I think then after that, the Marlon Vera guy got that crazy arm bar. I think that got him a bonus, if I'm not mistaken, and then Wilson just came in and, like you said, knocked that dude out.
Yeah, man, it was a pretty sweet UFC Fight Pass card. You had 3 fights, 3 finishes.
Yeah, you don't want to get hit by those 205ers, man.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's just move on up here, man. Prelim card on Fox Sports 2. Let's see, we had Frankie Sens taking on Serwin. I can't pronounce his name, but I think you train with him.
Serwan Nakai. That's actually a really, really good friend of mine. And that Signs guy, man, he's no joke. He's just he puts so much pressure. I mean, I'm biased. I gave 2 rounds to Serwan, but take it for what it is. I'm biased. It was so close that I don't think he was mad at the judges at all. He shouldn't have left it to the judges. But Signs is just tough as nails. I know for a fact, I've seen it in the gym, that Serwan hits hard. When he lands. His wrestling looked awesome against a D1 wrestler. And I think Signs just was able to put a little more pressure than he expected. And I'm just excited to see what Serwan's going to do after that. He's taken 2 UFC fights on really short notice, so hopefully they'll give him some time to develop and, have a full 8-week camp for a fight.
Yeah, for sure. And you were telling me last week that this is a guy to really keep your eye on.
Yeah, 100%. People like to craps on people because they have bumps in the road. Look at a guy. I always resort back to him because he's a great example. But look at Robbie Lawler. He's got like 11 losses. You look at Verdum. He's got a bunch of losses. All the best guys have several losses on their record. Serwan lost to get into the Ultimate Fighter house. So the UFC just kind of, they turned a blind eye to him and didn't care. And he comes out on, 8 days notice. against, I can never think of the guy's name. He just fought on June 27th. But he comes out on, 8 days' notice, has a horrible weight cut, goes 15 minutes with that guy and dominates him. Then immediately 5 weeks later, they put him up against a number 14 guy like Saenz, who's tough as nails, and, he lost a split, but the fight really could have gone either way. So, Sirwan is, dude, he's just mentally, he's all there. Physically, he is a freak of nature, and I can't wait to see him on a full camp. He's so fired up after losses, so it's going to be really scary to see what he does to the next guy.
Okay, man. Next up, Dustin Ortiz took on Willie Gates. I know Willie Gates got a win a few weeks, maybe 3 or 4 weeks before this. I'm not sure which card it was, but I know he got a win. And then he takes this fight on short notice, gets TKO'd in the 3rd round.
See, I didn't know Willie had a fight before. I'd never heard of Willie. I knew Dustin Ortiz, and dude, I was actually impressed. You could just tell by the way that Willie Gates moved that he had good movement, and he was a real dangerous guy on the feet.
Sure.
Dustin Ortiz, man, he brought the heat, and you could tell how good the other guy was on the feet by how much Dustin wanted to get him down. I mean, Ortiz just kept taking him down, beating him up, getting, 10-8 rounds if there ever was one, and then, just brought it to him and just forced the TKO. It must have just been fighting in his home state that brought all that, rage out of him. But he looked awesome. And the thing that made Dustin Ortiz look that much better is, I don't know what it was, but maybe it was just because he's tall and lanky, and I'm biased towards lanky guys, or that Willie Gates looked like he could do some damage, and Ortiz just took it to him.
Yeah, man. Gates was on the Ultimate Fighter finale, American Top Team versus the Black Zillions. You were there.
Was he?
Yeah,
who did he fight?
He fought Daryl Monteague, TKO, a minute 36 into the 1st round.
Okay. I think I remember that fight. And he stopped him like on the feet though. He did most of the damage on the feet.
Yeah, I believe so.
I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I think it was with hands. There was obviously I was there for every fight except the very first one, but I was so emotionally invested in all my friends fighting that the other ones kind of get blurred together sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
I watched too many fights.
He finished them with elbows and punches, if I remember correctly.
Oh, okay. I do. Yeah, it's coming. I just remember I remember him really teeing off with his hands and looking quick with his hands.
Yeah. Okay, man. The next one is a couple of veterans went at it. We had Tom Watson versus Chris Camuzzi.
Yeah, I kind of glimpsed back and forth between that one, but to me it just looked like a massive slugfest. It looked like those dudes were just slugging it out, and Camuzzi just had a little more gas and a little more forward momentum in the tank and just pushed it through. But that looked like a good fight. Every time I kept turning my head to the TV, it just looked like Camuzzi was just bringing it to him, and the Watson guy was swinging for the fences back at him.
Okay, man, the final one, I guess the main event of the prelim card was Uriah Hall. He got the win TKO, 2 minutes, 32 seconds into the 1st round.
Yeah, the guy he fought, I don't know too much about him. I know we have the same management company, so they were really hyped up on the guy, and he took it on real short notice. But the guy he fought didn't look like a bum, and it just looked like when he got on the ground, he wasn't too comfortable because, Uriah he looks like he's starting to mentally come into his own. He's starting to really want it. He went out there, he got the takedown, and he looked pretty calm. I remember the ref stopped him for some reason. I think it was like, I don't even remember. Oh, a mouthpiece. Big John stopped him for a mouthpiece, and Uriah just kind of smiled and gave the thumbs up to his corner, and just right when they restarted him, just had to work with elbows and punches and kept his hip pressure on the guy and kept the guy on his back. So he got the job done, and it was a good stoppage, definitely a good stoppage too, because the guy turned away. It was, it was over.
Yeah, it was kind of an interesting fight going into this one because everyone was wondering what this guy was going to bring to the table. And everyone always says, you never know what you're going to get with Uriah Hall. He can be amazing or, sometimes he's just flat.
Yeah. And I mean, at the end of it, and who knows what's going through the guy's head, Uriah's. I mean, who knows? He could have family problems. He could have family girlfriend problems. Who knows what it is? But at the end of the day, you know, that is always an exciting thing. It's like he's either going to be flat or you're going to get a brutal finish. So, I mean, I'm sure people are going to continue to watch the guy. It seems like the UFC really likes him.
Okay, let's move to the main card, man. And this first fight was an interesting one. We had Ray Borg. He missed weight. He weighed in at 126.75. Take on Gian Herrera. What did you think of this matchup?
I'm not great with a lot of guys that aren't on my team, but wasn't that Gian Herrera guy like a solid dude on the ground? Didn't he have some kind of accolades on the mat, like a jiu-jitsu accolade?
That I'm not sure of. That I do not know.
I don't know why. I remember hearing the commentators say something about that, but yeah, I mean, Ray was just all over him, just taking him down, passing his guard, landing big shots. I mean, just dominated from bell to bell, which is, I mean, that's what you need. I know the UFC doesn't like it when you miss weight, so if you're going to miss weight and lose 20% of your purse, you better at least go get your win money.
Yeah, for sure, man. What'd you think of Ray Borg? He seems pretty special to me. I really think he's a guy to watch.
He seems solid, man. He does. He keeps winning, and he's got a badass last name. So, does he have a nickname yet? I might be stupid for asking that.
Yeah, it's actually his Twitter handle too. It's like the Taz Mexican Devil, I believe it is. The Taz
Mexican Devil. Okay,
yeah.
See, that's really cool. I respect that nickname, but over time it needs to develop into something to do with a robot or something, because the Borg, the last name is intimidating. So he's got to play off that.
Okay, man. Next up, you called this one Amanda Nunes versus Sarah McMahon.
Yeah, that was pretty damn impressive, and more so that you say I called it, and I definitely kind of had that feeling, but Dean Thomas called it the day of the fight. I think it was the Saturday before the fight, to the Friday. I was talking to Dean about it because he had worked with Amanda, and I've been a fan of Amanda since she got to our gym, and I saw, even before that, I saw her fight Kat Zingano, and I was like, damn, that's a tough chick, and then she ends up at our gym. So of course I kept following her, and I asked Dean, I said, how's Amanda doing? Did you get, you train her and stuff? And he goes, dude, she looks like a killer. And he basically said, with her, as long as she comes out and just stays composed and just waits for the right time to let loose that, ferocity, he goes, she ain't going to gas and she's going to crush this girl. He's like, the only way she can lose this fight if she goes out, gets emotional, blows her wad, and gets, taken down late or gets decisioned, or like happened with the Kat Zingano fight where she blitzed her, and then gassed and got stopped late in the third. And hot damn, she came out completely composed, looked amazing. And you want to know what's scarier? I don't know if I should say this in public because I might give away some special secret, but the thing about Amanda's coaches, the fight was amazing. You could call it a near-perfect fight. When you don't get taken down, you don't even get hit, and then you drop the girl into a TKO the girl into a submission. That's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
But the thing is they found mistakes with what she did in the best way. They said, no, of course, celebrate. You looked amazing. You did 9 out of 10 things right. But they found 3 or 4 things she did wrong, whether it was when she had the back. You could have been doing this and that while you had the back to make sure you didn't get off the back and make sure you got the choke. So even though she got the choke perfectly, they're still going to add 3 more ways to make it that much more solid. 3 more ways you can grab the wrist in this way and grab that way so she can't, throw you off the front. Don't throw that spinning kick on a wrestler without setting it up with punches or without knowing the girl's hurt. Wait a little bit for that. So they already picked apart the few mistakes that she made, and they're going to try to cut those out as well. So it's like they're already trying to improve her. I mean, I know she thinks, she's asking for the title shot. I don't think she even asked for it. I think she just said she's ready if they want her to.
Right.
I really hope that she doesn't get a title shot and she gets 1, at the most 2 more fights to go out there and really develop her game, to get used to being composed but deadly, and let her develop, let her learn 1 or 2 more fights, get 1 or 2 more bonuses in the bank, and then let her go on Ronda. So that way it's a sure thing that you're getting the best of Amanda, because she's still getting so much better.
Yeah, I was very impressed with her wrestling. I really thought that was going to be an issue in this fight, and she had no problem keeping it standing.
Dude, she had the hips, man. I mean, her hips looked. I'm not like a feminist or an anti-feminist. I'm not like a, what do they call it when you're a bigot and you think men are the best. I'm not like that. But at the end of the day, at the end of the day, men have really strong hips compared to women when it comes to takedowns. I mean, not there's definitely those Rondas and those Sarah McMahons out there and Amanda Nunes, but when she had her hips fighting against Sarah's hips, they looked like two Olympians. I mean, two man Olympians, sitting there battling with the hips. I mean, Sarah had such a nice body lock, and Amanda just found a way to drop her center, get her head inside of Sarah's head, and just battle those hips. And I know it sounds boring to people that might not know, but hips and head fighting are everything. People see the hands, people see the kicks. No, it's about where you position your hips, whether you're striking, whether you're grappling, especially when you're grappling. It's about where you position your hips, and then you start fighting with your head. It's a dogfight out there. You're sitting there trying to battle their forehead with your forehead. So, I mean, that was high-level grappling from two chicks. It was really nice to see that. Because, I mean, you can start to even see the division upping its standards, and it's really nice to see that.
What do you think about a potential matchup, Amanda Nunes versus Holly Holmes?
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. Talk about two sick-ass strikers, right?
Yeah.
And, I mean, obviously I'm biased, so take it for what it is.
Sure.
But I do like to think that I have a decent opinion on fights. I think Amanda would be too much for her. She's just so mean, dude. I mean, she's a sweet girl, but I'm talking about in the cage. She's just so mean. She knows what she wants to do. She doesn't go out there and hesitate. That was the biggest thing with her, is you had to hold her back a little bit. You had to slow her down just a little. Not slow her down, but calculate her. And now she's being calculating. She's almost, instead of being a rampage killer now she's an assassin. Nice. Now she's a more composed killer. She's going to get more kills in the long run.
Okay, man, I don't know about this next fight. I don't even remember watching it, so I must have been doing something else. But we have Jared Rosholt versus Timothy Johnson.
Well, I did watch some of this fight. Timothy has a sick mustache, and I thought he was just going to get crushed by Jared because of the wrestling. And, I mean, just Jared, based on his looks, could kill people, man. I mean, no offense. I'm not that pretty. I got a mullet and a crooked nose and messed up ears, but Jared might be the ugliest guy in the UFC for a little bit of comedic relief.
Right.
But they were battling it out, and Jared it looked like he just got the takedowns and got what he needed done. They both kind of gasped, but that Timothy Johnson dude's got some balls, man. He came back throwing haymakers in the third, and actually, I thought that had he not shot for the takedown that he did, with 10 seconds left to try to maybe win a decision, had he just whiffed 2 or 3 more punches and just, taken a deep breath and gone for it, he could have actually, knocked out Jared. He could have gotten a performance bonus because, I mean, he had the dude on Queer Street. I'm talking massive 300-pound hooks, just boom, boom, and 3 of them landed right on Roseholt's chin. And, he would knock Roseholt out, but within half a second before Roseholt would even fall to the mat, he would wake back up and then hit it. I mean, it was insane. So, I mean, it did have a pretty explosive ending. But he just didn't do enough to get the decision. Jared did enough.
Yeah.
Like wrestlers are good at.
Next up, we got Derek Brunson versus Smiling Sam Alvey. This fight surprised me, man. I never thought Brunson was going to stand in there.
I wouldn't have thought Brunson would have done it on the feet. I mean, I thought he would have landed some nice stuff on the feet. I thought he was going to really get it with the takedowns. But I did call Derek for that fight, and he just came out and blitzed. You know what I think it was? I guarantee you if you talk to him, he would have said, yeah, my game plan was to hit the guy hard, and when he reached, I was going to take him down. I guarantee you that was the game plan. I mean, that seems like the most efficient thing to do. If he's smart, that would have been the game plan. But I think he landed a punch that worked for him, and I think he got really addicted to the way it felt hitting him, and he said, I think I'm doing well here. And he just put the blitz on. He kept picking it up. And I thought it was a great stoppage. And now that's no disrespect. Sam's a stud, but, Derek just blitzed. And I don't think Sam Alvey was quite expecting that level of a blitz coming. And, it damn, it was impressive.
Yeah, and after the stoppage, I think Sam was saying it was stopped too early, but to me it looked pretty good.
You know, dude, no one's happy after a stoppage. No one's happy. I got TKO'd in my UFC debut, 4 or 5 weeks ago, and at the end of the day, it's like I got turned around too. It was very similar positioning. I got turned around and was getting hit from behind while I was trying to come up to all fours. And I was pissed when I got up because when they pulled the guy off of me, I was able to get up immediately. So I get up and I look to the ref and I go, "What'd you stop it for?" He goes, "Dude, you were out." And I go, "No, I'm here now. I'm good now. I know.
Right.
Why'd you stop it?" And I go, "Was it legit?" And I just looked at the ref and he looks at me with like this look of like, "Dude, I wasn't trying to take money away from you. I promise." Like he just had this look of honesty in his eye, and I said, "Okay." I went back. I looked at the video and I said, "Yep, just because you can get up after they pull the guy off doesn't mean you could have gotten up when he was on you hitting you." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, just because you're able to get up when they pull the guy off, I mean, I guarantee you Sam Alvey doesn't consider it a late stoppage now. It sucks, personally, I would have liked the ref to let him hit me 2 more times, because when they hit you 2 more times, it might knock you into half guard where you instinctively close down and you keep fighting. It's happened before. I would have preferred that, but at the end of the day, it's not what happened, and it's not what happened for Sam Alvey. So, I thought it was a legit stoppage. Just because you can, and that's speaking from experience, just because you can get up when the ref pulls the guy off doesn't mean that it wasn't a good stoppage.
The co-main event, we had Michael Johnson taking on Dariush. Split decision here. Some people aren't happy.
Yeah. I was overall just disappointed. I'm a fan of Dariush. He's a tough guy, and I like his chokes. I like his lanky style. But man, in my opinion, when I saw the first round going down, I just thought Michael Johnson looked a little too fast and too sharp, and Dariush literally just looked scared. He looked really stiff. He looked nervous. I mean, I never judge, because the man could have been sick. He could have had mental I don't know, but he did look scared. He looked nervous, or he just looked really stiff. I didn't like how low he carried his hands. I just don't think that's smart in MMA. I mean, carry them low when you're outside of striking range, but don't enter striking range with your hands by your shoulders and chest, especially against a guy like Michael Johnson. And I thought Michael Johnson won all 3 rounds. You could, if you were, you could have given Benal the 3rd round for, the jabs, and it seemed like he loosened up in the 3rd, but I mean, it was definitely too little too late. I don't see where the judges saw that at all. I can't really fathom it. That just goes right back to what they need to really be doing is these judges need to have had at least 5 pro fights with a winning record.
Right.
Because there's a lot of dudes who have 5 pro fights, but they're delusional people and they have losing records. So you need to have, you need to be at least 3-2 or, whatever, 3-3, I don't know. You just need to have a winning record with at least 5 fights, which I don't think would be that hard, and you need to be a judge. There's a lot of fighters out there who are on the lower end of the totem pole that would gladly take some extra cash judging fights and that would probably do a much better job. Something like that. You've got to somehow get more experienced judges in there, because these guys are idiots. I don't know where they're coming from.
Right.
But at the end of the, I don't know. People tell me they come from boxing. I don't watch enough boxing to know. But at the end of the day, they're stupid. And I've looked at them before, and they're old men. They're old men. Like, what does he know? He doesn't do jiu-jitsu. He doesn't do shit. He just sees a takedown and goes, well, he's on top. And he goes back to high school, and he saw 2 rednecks fight in a mud pit, and the one got on top won. So it's like, he doesn't know. So why is he here? Why is he here judging a professional sport with someone's like paycheck and life on the line? No, that's stupid. It makes absolutely no sense. And I mean, obviously, the UFC agrees too. Sadly, they can't have anything to do with that, because then they come off as like they're fixing fights. So they're legally not allowed. So I feel bad for them almost being stuck where they can't, it hurts their business too. So it's so ridiculous. What are they doing there? They don't know anything, even if they just know boxing.
Yeah.
Let there be one of those guys in there that knows boxing. Let there be a D1 wrestler in there, and let there be a 5-0 MMA fighter as another judge. So you've got, you know what I mean? Like, let's get some fair and balanced judging here, because I mean, That I don't understand what they saw. There was no takedown. There was no punches landed for Dariush. I mean, the fight as a whole, they're two really good fighters, but the fight as a whole was really disappointing. Not to take anything away from Michael Johnson. I know he wants to stay winning and stay on top, so he played a little more of a safer fight, but that's just another reason you got to go out there and finish these guys, period. Like, I don't believe in fighting for a decision. I understand that at the top level, the guys are tougher, and you can't just go out there like an idiot, but you know what you should do? You should find a way to go out there and take your time, and you should be trying to finish that. You should be really trying to end that man's life for fear of having your own life ended for the entirety of the fight, whether it's 3 rounds and your fight. If you go out there to finish the guy within 5 rounds in a 3-round fight and you don't get the finish, the 4 times that you dropped him and started landing elbows and trying to choke him will show the judges who won.
Yeah.
But some guys go out there and they try to just pick guys apart and stay on the outside and do just enough for the judges or the wrestlers who want to get the takedowns. And it's like, and that's not discrediting all wrestlers. You know, there's a lot of great wrestlers that go out there, take the guy down, try to choke him out. He's so tough they couldn't, but he still won the decision. So guys got to go out there and try to finish and just, you know, make the judges where they don't have a job anymore.
I'm with you on all that. You know, this judging is pretty bad. I think if they got some of these legends, you know, that aren't associated with any camps, like a Gary Goodridge, you know, I know he's interested in doing
Agreed.
some judging. That might be a good way to go.
Agreed.
Okay,
Agreed.
man. Okay, let's get to the main event, man.
That's a good, actually.
Okay. So,
Yeah, the main event.
yeah, the main event, man. So we had Glover versus OSP. Just talk us through the fight.
It gave me goosebumps. I probably shouldn't tell people this, but sometimes you pass gas and you pass a little more than gas. I guess I could technically say when I stood up, I literally almost shit myself when he won. I was losing it.
Nice.
Glover's just an awesome dude. He's an amazing fighter for one, but he's twice the person that he is a fighter, if you can believe it. I call him Danbury, Connecticut's Rocky Balboa, because everyone in that town knows Glover. Everywhere we went. So, and they're not like fan people, you know. They seem to really know him. I mean, they seem to really like him as a friend. So, I mean, he's just awesome. And it seems like Vince is the same way. So I'm kind of like, I was really nervous for the fight. I mean, you're fighting a guy in his home state. The guy's a stud. He's on a win streak. I knew Glover had every last tool to beat him. But the thing is so did Pat Cummings, you know. So did Shogun.
Right.
Everyone has the tools to beat Vince in the sense that, you know, Vince isn't the greatest on the ground. He doesn't have the greatest takedown defense. His conditioning isn't where it should be. But he lands that left hand or he lands a body kick or a head kick. Like, the dude's so dangerous. So it's like Glover was going in there to defuse a bomb, and all the people who made the bomb were just around watching. You know, it was very nerve-wracking. But he did everything he should have, man. He did everything according to game plan. Other than when he got caught with that cup shot pretty early, I think the only mistake he really made was he should have taken more time to recover from the nut shot. He took that knee, took like 15, 20 seconds, and McCarthy's like, dude, you got 5. You sure? It's like, yeah. And the first thing Vince does is throw a massive body kick that really hurt. And Glover's such a vet, man. He did what he got to do. He stayed in on that single leg. He survived the onslaught and got the takedowns over and over and over. Every time that dude threw a kick, he either threw a punch or he threw a takedown. And, man, he even rocked Vince on the feet, too, from the takedowns, and then got the takedown again, passed him out. And, dude, Glover he is heavy on top. The guy, he's really good. He knows where to put his weight, and he's just heavy. And, man, he put the beat down on him. And, you know, props to Vince, man. You wake up to chokes. You don't tap. And he went out like a man right in front of his hometown crowd. And Glover silenced the whole crowd. He stood up, and Nashville was quiet. No, there wasn't I didn't hear a single voice in the crowd.
Nice. One interesting thing before the fight, you know, I was checking out these prediction videos, and a lot of people were saying Glover is declining. He certainly didn't look like he was declining.
Absolutely not. And that's another thing. Like I say, you know, I don't know what was in Dariush's head. I don't know why Michael Johnson didn't go for the finish, because people have circumstances. It's not a team where you've got 15 people that can pick up the slack for 2 people who had a bad day. It's all on you. And Glover, I mean, at least as far as, I don't want to get too much into his personal business, but, he had the tough loss to John Jones. He had some injuries from that fight. His shoulder, as everyone saw, got jacked up in that key lock overhook weird thing in the first round. So he fights through a 5-round title fight with Jones with one shoulder completely torn. And, he comes off that injury. I know after the fight he had a lot of, personal good things in his life. I know he bought his gym. He did a lot of things with his life. And he really tried to organize a camp for the Phil Davis fight. I don't know too many of the details because I wasn't there, but I know he didn't get the training he wanted. He had a lot of things that were way too stressful on him at the time, and which caused him to have a terrible camp, terrible weight cut. I don't think he went into that fight in the best shape or mindset from what I've been told. And he got held on by a wrestler. So people are quick to judge. Oh, you had 2 tough losses. Oh, Robbie Lawler didn't look so good against wrestlers in Strikeforce. He's going to get crushed. It's all who shows up that night. And I knew for a fact that the Glover that was showing up this past Saturday was a Glover I'd never seen before. I mean, he was on, man, and he trained his ass off. He is an amazing boxing coach. He's got great people around him, a good conditioning coach. He's got a great jiu-jitsu coach. Everyone around him is focused on him. He brought in, King Mo. He brought in me. And everything that he did to me and Mo, he did to that guy. If I threw a hard body kick, he punched me for it. If I threw a hard body kick, he took me down for it. If I tried to set up the uppercut and set up the, these weird, crazy punches, he would wait just outside of my range and wait and feint, and then bam, 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 he'd blitz. And he did it. He did everything he trained for, and he was super focused in the fight. He had good people around him, and it just showed. So, when people were saying he was done, I was just hoping. I knew he wasn't done. I knew that whether he lost this fight or not, he was still going to come back and still do big things. But you're always nervous that even though he's going to look good, what happens if that big punch lands? He's not stupid. Glover knows. Even every time we talk about it, he's like, no, I got to go win the fight first, because at the end of the day, anything can happen. I mean, we got to be realists here. But nah, he killed it, and his circumstances came together for him just like he deserved, because he's an awesome person, and it just I couldn't ask for a better victory for a better guy. As a fan and as a friend of the guy, it was just awesome.
Let's wrap this up here. We got the bonus awards were handed out. Fight of the night went to Glover and OSP. Performance of the night went to Amanda Nunes and Marlon Vera. So now we've got the Creepy Weasel bonus. And who are you going to give it to? Anyone on the card? Somebody that really impressed you?
All right. So outside of those guys, I mean, I think I have to give it to. It's stuck. It's stuck between Derek Brunson and Scott Holtzman.
Oh, nice.
I mean, Scott, he beat my buddy, but I can't deny that he was impressive. I can't deny that he was. I had to split it. It's a split decision, and Derek came out with the blitz and just did it up. But you know what? Okay, I'm gonna go with Scott Holtzman. Derek Brunson was a stud, but he dropped his hands a lot when he threw the right hands. He made a lot of technical errors. Scott Holtzman barely made a single technical error and looked like daggum white John Jones out there throwing spinning back elbows and this and that. And, I mean, I'm sure Sam Alvey was prepared too, but I know how ready Anthony was for the fight. So, I mean, he didn't beat, just some bum. He beat a really tough guy. And, I mean, even my girlfriend was watching the fight with me, and she couldn't believe, one, how many punches and strikes my buddy was taking and just coming forward, and two, how good the Scott Holtzman guy was. The dude, I got to give it to Scott Holtzman.
Well, thanks for doing this, man, and for everyone that follows us, we'll be doing some more previews and reviews coming up, so keep it here at Radio MMA, and thanks for doing this, man.
Thanks a lot for having me, James. You have a good day.